You need a great opener, like somehow we're adults. Do.
We can record that right
some
now.
Some kind of like.
We can record that right now.
Everybody be quiet.
Somehow we're adults.
Hey guys. We are
Right from the jump. It's awkward.
So today's podcast,
Hello. The people. Hello.
from the internet.
Jesus. So
I'm awkward. Get over it.
I know.
So the podcast topic for today is minimalism and how it changed our lives.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to start off by basically talking a little bit about how we got started in it. Because at one point this was like a super trendy...
We were maximalists at one point.
Yeah, but it also... I feel like minimalism went through one of those like trendy, like everyone was doing it kind of things.
And we were hip with it.
Yeah, we were.
No.
We're hip people. So this was when we started dating. So that was what, 2016?
Yep. We were both 19.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to be one of those people that would like shop at, like, if you remember Forever 21 and like Charlotte Russe and all of those stores, like I would be there every single weekend, like
Just
shopping for new stuff.
The mall. Yeah.
Like it was a regular activity for me.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, like that was a whole era.
Yeah, Sephora, all that shit.
And
yeah.
no one steps in the mall anymore. It's like dead.
Well, at least we don't.
No.
Kids that are 19, I'm sure still are.
We have come a long way.
Yes, we have.
So, back in my day, I used to live at the mall. I used to live for shopping. I was always like checking to see like I would, like, when I kid you not, I mean, I had my closet full of stuff. And then I had like an entire rack on my wall above my bed. That was like a 2-rack thing full of clothes.
Yeah.
And now it's like all of my closet's like a big.
It's like 2
my
feet
entirety
wide.
of my closet's this big.
Yep.
So we've come a long way.
Yeah, and then not only that too, at that point, so we didn't live together obviously, but my closet, well, first of all, I had an entertainment center for like a TV, and it was just packed full of shit. There was shit underneath my bed. There was shit shoved in the closet that was like waist high. And the only reason it stopped at waist high was because my clothes were above that. And I had clothes that I hadn't wore since I was like 12 years old in that closet. And then I had just shit stacked above the... Like my closet was a pretty decent sized closet. And it was just packed to the brim with bullshit.
Like the first time I went to your room, I was like, I need to run. He's a hoarder.
No, it was not. Because it was... quote unquote clean, which quote unquote clean then gives me anxiety now.
It was clean clutter.
Yeah, I had the clutter organized. Yeah, It was so much crap. It was like an accumulation of 19 years worth of like growing up that I didn't want to get rid of. Like I never went through stuff and got rid of stuff. I had an emotional attachment to everything for some reason.
Like I remember at one point I had high heels because back in the day, like we used to go to like church and like it was a whole event, like everyone dressed up like perfectly, like it was a whole show. So you were constantly trying to like find new outfits, and it was just like kind of like the norm. Like you didn't wear the same thing twice, and like you basically just wore high heels and like a dress and all of this stuff. So I used to have like literally high heels in every single color. Now you would not catch me dead in a pair of heels. Like it's not happening. But yeah, like I used to have probably like 40 pairs of shoes and like hundreds of clothes that I never even wore. Jewelry, which I don't even wear jewelry anymore.
But now you're down to 39 since you've been a minimalist. You're down to 39 pairs of shoes.
I have 2 pairs of shoes in nude and black and everything. So I have like 2 boots.
When did tan become nude?
It's always been nude.
No, it's just tan.
It's nude.
That's just, it makes it vulgar and I don't like it.
Well, I had nude pairs
Why
of shoes.
are my shoes, quite literally, shoes are the opposite of being naked.
I don't know. It's the color. It's supposed to like be like your skin color. I don't know. I don't make the
Why
rules.
has everything got to be so special?
I don't know.
It used to be called being simple, living a simple life. Now it's minimalism.
No, seriously. Like,
it's been rebranded and repurposed.
like back in the day, people probably had like 3 outfits and they just like...
They used to call it being poor. Now it's minimalist. I'm just kidding.
So, anyways, all that to say is we've come a long way. Like Bath and Body Works, first of all, that shit's poison. Don't touch it.
Yeah. Okay.
That's another rabbit hole. But I used to have literally like 30 bottles of lotion. Like every time they had a new scent, like I had to go buy it. And it's like, I never even used it.
Yep.
Like, why was I buying so much shit?
Yeah. Yep.
Makeup too. Like, I would literally have, like, this was back in like the YouTube era where everyone did like the whole like makeup, beauty, blah, 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 blah stuff. So you were constantly like, oh my gosh, that's cool. I need to have it. And it's like, I'm never going to wear purple
We were
eyeliner.
very much in a consumer mindset and like, I gotta have it. So let's segue that into like, what is minimalism?
To me, I feel like we're functional minimalists. Like, we don't have...
Are there unfunctional ones?
Yes, because I feel like there's the people that have, like, 2 forks, 2 plates, 1 pair of shoes, like, very extreme. But we're very, like... We have stuff, but we're just very cautious of the things that we have, and we don't have stuff that we don't use.
Or if we do, it's something that is sentimental or...
Even my sentimental stuff, like before I used to have like tons of it, and now I'm down to like one tiny bin.
Yeah.
So even with that, it's like I've learned to like let go of stuff that's really not important.
Right.
No, but to me, minimalism is just like having what you need and not having stuff that you're never going to use just to buy it.
Well, it's not even just the purchasing of it. It's the retention of stuff that no longer serves you. And like, to me, that's been a huge thing for me is like, you know, it's so easy to just let stuff build, and then you look at something and you're like, wow, how long have I had this for, and how many times have I used it? Like, I would rather have the space that it takes up for something else or for nothing else. Because then it's like, for me, like, let's say, like, we'll just call it units. I'm going to say I had 1,000 units of stuff in my bedroom when we were dating. And I remember it was like one of those things where every single part of my room was a different burden for me emotionally. And I remember, because you had a pretty clean room when we started dating.
Yeah,
like your
because I
room,
had already started this, like,
yeah.
Like, it was probably, like, the year that we started dating, like, a little before. I had already gotten to this, like, rabbit hole of, like, getting rid of stuff that I wasn't using.
And you forced me to watch the Minimalism documentary.
Yeah, but even before that, I feel like the biggest thing for me was, like, as girls, and maybe guys too, like, we tend to keep a lot of stuff, like outfits for, like, when we go to, like, wedding. Like, every time there's a special event, we have to buy something new.
Yeah.
Like, if it's a wedding, you can't rewear the dress. You can't wear the same outfit twice. And I feel like that, like, not constantly purchasing stuff for an event helped me a lot. And I feel like the other thing was, like, I would keep clothes and items that I'd be like, oh, well, one day I'll fit into this. Or, like, I literally hate wearing the shirt, but it's cute. And I would, like, keep it in my closet, but it was so uncomfortable, I would never touch it again.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what really, like, triggered me to, like, start minimizing, because for me it started with clothes. It's like I have shoes that literally give me blisters. Like, why am I doing that to myself?
Like, I won't wear them. Yeah, there's
like,
a negative thing to wear them.
Like, why am I wearing an outfit that I'm constantly, like, tugging at, like, pulling up? Like, like, there is no need for me to be uncomfortable in my clothing. So for me, it was like I started doing this thing where, like, I would organize my closet, and every time I wore a shirt that I liked, I would put it at the beginning. And it was color organized, all matching coat hangers. Like, you got coat hangers.
Try that again.
Like, it was all organized. Like, my closet was never, like, out of order, because that's who I am as a person. But I would start wearing a shirt, and if I liked it and I felt comfortable in it, I would put it at the start. And that was, like, the beginning of, like, clothes that I genuinely like wearing. And if I would wear an item... What?
I was just remembering my closet was kind of something similar, where it was like my closet was shaped like a C, or I guess the best way would be like a C. And so, like, the sides and, like, even, like, it was really the only clothes I wore were, like, right in the center. Everything else was, like, stuff that, like, didn't fit anymore, or the way it fit I didn't like, or what it was, like, what was on the shirt I didn't like. It was literally, like, there was really just, like, 10 to 20 shirts that I wore, and everything else was just taking up space.
Yeah, that's how it was for me. It's like, I did wear everything, but it was also to the point where it's like I was getting too caught up in, like, what I looked like for other people that I stopped caring about, like, being comfortable. And when that clicked in my head, I was like, okay. So I would, like, go throughout my life, and, like, I would wear a shirt if it fit right, if I liked it and I felt comfortable, I would put it at the beginning. If I wore a shirt that I hated the fabric, because I'm really picky about fabric, as I am with everything else in my life. If it was like a horrible fabric, or if it like was itchy or uncomfortable, I would toss it.
Yeah. Well, that was so what we did with my bedroom specifically, because you helped me with this, is we literally went like piece by piece and we pulled everything out of it, and we were like, okay, yes or no, like, and you like seriously made me like, it was almost like a thought exercise, because you're like, when's the last time you used this?
Does this spark joy in your life? Like
Right,
the whole, like,
yeah. Like, is this just been an emotional baggage? And like, how many trash bags worth of crap did we donate to Goodwill and throw away? It was
like,
just like 20 trash bags, I believe. I can't remember, but I remember it being a lot.
I know I got like really like I was getting rid of stuff as I went along the year, like before we like were really like dating or anything, like before I even knew you. But whenever I knew we were moving out, like I was moving out, like that's when it really started. Because I went through like everything. I'm talking documents, sentimental stuff, like my shoes, my clothes. It's like I'm moving from my room and now I'm sharing a room because we lived at your mom's house. I'm like,
we're either gonna have twice the stuff or we're gonna get rid of stuff.
Yeah,
even
it's
more.
like I'm not gonna bring anything that I don't necessarily want into my new life. Because at that point, that was like a big life change for me. So I like basically went through everything, my medical documents, like any paperwork that I was holding on to just to
for
hold
no
on
reason.
to.
Yeah, like freaking manuals.
Yeah,
stuff.
and
We're like,
all
why do I
of-
have this?
And all of the stuff that I wasn't sure if I needed to keep or not, I just took pictures of it and digitalized it, which saved a lot of like the physical clutter for me. And then like my clothing I had already been going through, but it kind of just started like not escalating. I wouldn't say it like that sounds negative, but it started kind of like seeping into other aspects of my life. And I think at that point too is when like all the minimalism things started to happen. Like I feel like it was like slowly trickling. I probably heard about it somewhere and I was like, oh, that's not a bad idea.
Well, because it's so easy for stuff to build up, like so easy. So like, I guess my best advice to somebody who's even considering doing something like this, if there's something that you have, gives you a little bit of angst, because that's really what it is the stuff gives you angst. Like, for instance, like if you have a closet that is just full of crap and you don't even know what's all really in there, like take time, schedule out 2, 3, 4 hours. If you paid attention to our scheduling podcast, schedule out some time and actually like pull everything out with the idea that you're only going to put back stuff that adds value to your life. Like stuff that's like basically good for you. And then if it's something that's sentimental, make sure it's really sentimental. Because there was sentimental stuff that I didn't get rid of that I can go back and look at it now, but it's kind of just stuff that like one day I want to show my children. That's about it. And it's not going to mean anything to them. It means more to me than it does to them.
And I feel like there's also different ways to go about it. Like you can be very extreme about it, but now that I've kind of been doing it for so long, my closet stays in that same cycle where like if I wear something, I move it to the front. At the end of the year, stuff I never wore gets donated. I don't throw it away.
We still keep shirts for special occasions too, though, because like for me, I have to have dress shirts, but I don't always wear dress shirts.
Yeah, I have 4 dresses that I rotate for like special events. That's it, 4 dresses, and all of my shoes match everything in my closet.
Right.
And then the other thing that I do that you don't really do because you're not really like I feel like I'm the one that kind of like takes on like the organizing the house, like making sure like under our sink looks good, like stuff that you would never even think about. I constantly anyways, I constantly have a box of things that I like, a little box somewhere in the house where I'm like, as I see stuff that I know we're never gonna use, I'll put it in there, and once it's full, I'll donate it.
Yep. Yeah, there's a whole meme about that. About it's like
it just sits in my car for
anybody
years.
else that's that's a thrift store person who's got just a pile of stuff that needs to go to the thrift store that's accumulating. We have a pile. Yeah.
But I feel like it's also really easy. Like it's things you never think about. Like how many of you, like when you open underneath your sink, it's just piled with like products and medicine and stuff that you don't even know you own. Something
that you purchased many years ago with the great intention of using it all the time and you never use it.
Or same thing with like your pantry. Like how much of the stuff in your pantry is expired?
Right.
How many cleaning products do you have that you're never going to actually use and it was a one-time item?
I feel like your house is like a 5-gallon bucket, and every time you bring something in, it's like putting a drop of water in that bucket. If you're not taking water out of that bucket periodically over time in big scoops, you're going to, next thing you know, your bucket's going to be overflowing. And then you're on an episode of Hoarders. So I think it's important to take stuff out and really just analyze it. I mean, actually think about the stuff you have and why you have it, because a lot of it's just junk. And I just want to speak on, well, I know we made things that helped us, so we should probably
we'll
stick to
get
that
into
a little
that.
bit.
That was supposed to be more of like her story.
Huh?
Nothing. Keep
Well,
going.
we were going in on our story, but we
Yeah.
started going in on
I
other
know.
stuff too. So we've been pretty much doing minimalist to the best we can. Like I'm better in some areas than she is, and vice versa. So how it changed my life is it gave me way more mental clarity, because it's like there's like an extra breath of air in your lungs that is for the stuff that you have, and it's almost like so relaxing, and like your body gets like energy from having less clutter and less crap. And then I felt like it gives me more time to, because there's more mental clarity and I have less stuff. Like if I need to find, just for example, if I need to find a hammer, like it's super easy to find my hammer if my wife put it where it's supposed to be. It's super easy to find it because I know where it's at, because I don't have a bunch of tools that I don't use. You know what I mean? Like everything has got a purpose. Now tools are a little different. You might go years before you use a pair of channel locks, and maybe you need to have them anyways in case. But just example, like it's very easy for me to collect hunting stuff, but I really need to like I really don't have that much stuff to begin with, but I need to go through some of my stuff soon.
Yeah, that's where I feel like that was one of my points. I'm just going to piggyback off of yours. Like when it comes to like cleaning, like I feel like the more clutter you have, the more like stuff on the counter, the more like things do you accumulate. If you have to constantly move like 5 things to put away a pot, like it gets to be very overwhelming to where like chores and just keeping like the stuff that you currently have and use, it becomes like a hassle. So for me, it was more so like the less I have, the less I need to take care of. And like I don't buy stuff that's like a one-time use. I feel like that just adds clutter. Like when it comes to your kitchen, like having like a avocado cutter or like very like specific, like you're only gonna use it for one singular purpose, but you could take 2 more minutes to use a knife to do the same purpose. Like
Right. And now you have one knife that does many things.
We don't buy stuff like that. Same thing with like cleaning products. Like I have one multi-purpose, I have one disinfectant, we have our laundry detergent. Like we don't have like 5 items that can do the same exact purpose.
We don't have 3 cleaners for every room of the house.
Yeah, like, and even with like fragrances and stuff like that, like I stopped buying it. Like I'll use like essential oils if we need to, but even then it's like as long as your house is clean, it's not going to smell bad.
Right. And two, like think about wiping a table down. Like the less crap that you have on a table, the easier it is to wipe down. Like if you're having to move 15 things to wipe down a table, you need to get rid of some things, which I need to do. I really need to, now that we're talking about it, like I want to schedule time on our calendar out probably for beginning of January to go through like several different rooms in the house for me. Like probably I'll do them on different times, but I like, and I still don't have a lot of crap, but I know for certain if I go through all the places in my mind, there's stuff I can get rid of because I haven't used it in years.
Yeah, and that's, I feel like I'm on a constant rotation because I do more of like, I care more about like everything being organized and perfect, and you're just like, it's clean, it's fine. So because I'm constantly like organizing, I'm constantly like looking at like what I can do to make my house more functional. I'm constantly like taking stuff out that you probably don't even notice
Until I need it.
Yeah, but even then it's like my rule is like if it's going to cost $20 to replace and I haven't used it in the past 2 years, it's leaving.
Right. Yeah. No, for certain. Now my next point was or did you already say one of your points?
It was more so just like the less stuff you have, the less stuff you have to take care of. The less time it takes to take care of stuff. Like we can clean our entire house in probably 20 minutes or less.
I mean,
like
it depends on the level of cleaning we're doing. I would say we can probably clean our like much bigger house. Or I say it much bigger than our 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment. We can clean in the same amount of time.
Yeah. I feel like for me it was just more so like there's less mental tabs open in my mind if I have less stuff that I need to worry about. Because at this point it's just maintaining like dishes every day, like vacuum.
And we also like to be like high performance, I guess is the way you'd say it. I guess I don't know, but what I was gonna say is like the first place that we lived in was like 350 square feet. It was basically a loft with a separate kitchen and bathroom.
The first place we were, it was your mom's, which was just a bedroom.
I'm talking about the first place when we moved out. So first place was the bedroom, right? We shared a bedroom together, and so that kept us like. We have slowly gotten stuff, but we've also been very, like, we have to be very selective about what we bring into our house because we didn't have much space. And we had to be very crafty with our space. It's almost like we lived in a camper at first. Yeah, it was very small. So you had to, like, anything you bought, we bought really, like, we buy something that was more expensive but was smaller and high quality. And that was going to lead into my next point, which is the things you do have, you value more.
Wow, it seems like we have the same points.
Yeah. Like, you value the things you have way more. So, like, I don't even know. Like I've spent a lot of time figuring out the podcast equipment. Like, that's a good example of, like, things that I'm really happy about having the podcast studio the way we do. I mean, it definitely needs to be organized and stuff like that. But, you know, like, all my hunting stuff, the stuff that I do use is, like, super high quality, and is a great tool. I guess that's the thing with guys is we like tools. We like things that do things for us. And so, like, the better quality that tool is, the more value I get out of it. So that was my next point.
Mine is similar, same. It changes your mindset, and it's not just about, like, the stuff that you do have. Like, it's not just about, like, your mindset on, like, the number of things you have. Like, yes, that's, like, obviously kind of the main point of minimalism is to have less. But it changes, like, the amount of things you buy, because now you're not only worried about, like, constantly consuming and constantly buying the next thing that TikTok tells you to do, or the next thing you see on Instagram or TV or whatever.
Or Costco.
Yeah, like, we were literally walking through Costco and we were like, oh, this would be cool. And I'm like, but we have X, Y, and Z at home. We don't need it.
We literally, for example, we have literally, over the past, like, month and a half, because Daniela's been baking more, we've gotten measuring spoons and measuring cups. When I say just got them, I mean, like, 2 days ago you got measuring cups. And, like, we saw this set today that would have been perfect at Costco. And it was like, oh, it's only $15. We should just get it. I'm like, wait, why are we buying this? We just got these. We literally have these. We would just be getting another set of them. I was like, this is stupid, and put it back.
And it's like anyways, so it changes, like, your mindset on, like, what you're buying, as far as, like, when I go food shopping now, like, I'm looking at the ingredients. I'm not just buying items just to buy. When I go buy makeup, I have one foundation, one concealer, one mascara.
But you barely use makeup.
Like, well, that too. But it's like, when I do purchase makeup, I'm purchasing really high quality, really good ingredient products
that you feel good about.
When I'm purchasing clothing, first of all, I buy everything secondhand, because I hate the mass production of stuff for it to just end up in a landfill. So I'd rather just reuse something that's already been created and fix it myself. So with that as well, it's like, I'll buy something that it's missing a button or something. It's like, I know how to sew. I can mend and make do.
Yeah.
And it's like, a lot of the times, like, so many people will, like, have, like, a rip on their shirt and, okay, it's trash.
Yeah.
It's like, pick up a needle and thread and fix it. Like,
or their washer, for example, for us, like, our washer the other day was not draining water. And most people would be like, oh, it's time for a new one. And I was like, but I went on YouTube, watched an 8-minute long video, and I went and fixed our washer.
Like, I have so much pride in, like, the things that we do have, and, like, we take really, really good care of what we have for that same reason, because we know that, hey, like, it's been, 7 years, and we just now got a blender.
Just now got a nice blender. We've had a blender, but it sucked.
We had, like, no, we did not have a blender. We had one of those, like, individual cup, like, to make smoothies.
What would you call that, though?
A smoothie blender.
A smoothie blender.
But we didn't have a real blender.
We didn't have a real blender. I
and
agree,
yes, it's annoying, because if you're ever blending, like, a lot of stuff, it's like, you gotta do it 2-3 times to get the amount that you want. But it's like, it worked.
And it still wasn't that good. Yeah.
It worked. So it's something that we've just learned, that not only, like, did minimalism change, like, our overall, like, what we have, it changes, like, the consumption of what we do. Yeah. So, like, we're not just buying stuff to buy stuff. If I go shopping, I'm looking for something that's going to stay in my life for the next 10 years. I'm not buying something for something that I'm going to get over in, like, a week. Like, I don't buy trendy items. Same thing with, like, our home. Why do you look at me like that?
No, I was thinking. Okay. I didn't look at you like anything. I was like looking off to think. I was like trying to think about something trendy to call you out on, but no, you're right.
Same thing with, like, our home. Like, when we decorate, like, yes, we have decorations. Do we need pictures on the walls? No. Do we technically need 5 chairs when it's just the 2 of us? No.
Yeah.
But we bring stuff into our house that we're going to keep for forever.
Like, and that we like. Yeah, we don't have a chair that neither of us sit in. All like everything we have, we sit in.
Yeah.
Like, like the hammock, the rocking chair, the sectional, all that stuff.
So it kind of just, like, affects, like, how our house looks, how, like, everything we buy. Same thing to, like, the products for, like, cleaning, like, everything. Like, we're more focused on, like, the quality and what it does for us now than just purchasing something because it's quick and easy.
And that leads into my next one, which is it's easier to budget with, and it's better for your finances to do this stuff, because, like, So when I say it's better for your finances, we talked about how you'll spend a little bit more money to buy the higher quality thing, but you're buying less things. It is better to buy something that is not on sale because you budgeted for it, and to get like for example, too many people are like, oh, it's on sale, I need it. I'm saving money because I need to buy it now. And I'm of the mindset like, yes, that's great. However, if you weren't ready to buy it at that time, that's why they do it. It's an emotional purchase at that point. And it's like, it'd be better to buy it when you're ready to buy it and spend a little bit more extra money, because it'll make you value that thing even more.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of like where we're at now. Like, I don't buy, like, if I'm buying a pair of shoes, I'm not going to buy a crappy pair of shoes. I'm looking at the quality. I'm looking at the material it's made of. I'm looking at how, like, I'm looking down to, like, the stitching of the shoes.
Well, yeah, because same thing though. I keep my shoes for a long time. Like, I don't just go and buy, like, cheap shoes somewhere. Like, I make sure that the shoes I buy are, like, a reputable brand that makes good quality shoes that'll at least last me 2 years, because I'm going to have it for 2 years.
Yeah, and it's like, it sucks because it's like you're also like seeing stuff like on social media. I feel like that's like a big part of like TikTok made me do it, or I saw it on Instagram, and I just like the whole like influencer like thing that's going on right now. I feel like it's really easy because even I'll find myself and I'll see like a product and I like open it and I'm like 10 minutes into like looking at this product, I'm like, wait, why the hell do I need this?
Right.
So I feel like that's just kind of like not letting other people take control of your life, and you're actually like
being thoughtful with every purchase.
You're being intentional. You're not just buying stuff that's going to end up in a landfill.
It's all stuff is, unless it's got unless it's got an actual emotional attachment to it that you give a shit about, like sentimental stuff or like pictures and stuff like that. Like, if it's not that, it's gonna be used as a tool. Does that tool do its job and do it well? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because like I have a pair of shoes that I know for certain are in our closet right now that I am genuinely like sure I will not wear them again. If I do, it'll be like a one-off thing. Why do I keep them? Exactly
After this?
Right, well, exactly. It's like I need to go through my stuff again too. But like even if someone was to like come over and see how much stuff I guess do have, they would think like, wow, you don't really have that much stuff. And it's like, no, it's not that I don't have much stuff, it's that I only keep the stuff that I use. Like, if it's easy to accumulate stuff, it's hard to get rid of stuff. Think about politicians. Think about our laws. We have so many laws that are the same way. We need a minimalist law society too. We need a department to go through to get rid of old laws that are outdated. And I think that that's the problem too. Is well, just to speak on it, it happens in more than one area. It's easy to accumulate crap over time, and you don't use it.
How you do one thing affects everything. So, like, for example, how we maintain our house. My phone. I don't have any apps on my phone that I do not use.
Right, same. Or if you do, I have a very minimalist phone too. It's literally all on one page.
Yeah, it's
like half a page.
It kind of starts going into everything. Like, it doesn't just stop at that. Like, at work, like, I don't have clutter. Like, if I'm not using it, I don't have it.
Right.
Everything I do, because of how we handle our home and our like materialistic life, everything I do from then on is simple.
Yeah.
From our car, like, we don't, oh, my car's a mess, but whatever. Yeah. But we don't keep like trash and like crap we're never going to use on a regular basis in our car. Like,
right.
It just starts to go into everything else.
Yep. And then, well, not only that too, it's just like you said, like it travels into the other things. Like our kitchen, we try not to keep crap that we don't use. Same thing on my phone. Like, I don't have a bunch of stuff, like you said. Like, on my computer, I try and go through and get rid of crap over time, because it's stuff accumulates, and if you don't take time to unaccumulate things, then it builds up.
I feel like hobbies are a big one. Like, you start a new hobby and you buy all these supplies for it, and then it's something you're never going to use again, but you just keep it. And it's like, it started with one thing.
It's like,
and now
you remember when I used to paint?
Yeah, and now you have like 10 different materials for 10 different hobbies that you're never going to touch again. It's like, give it to someone.
The paint goes bad.
The way I see it, it's like, if I'm not using it and someone else is going to get more joy out of it, let them have it.
Right.
Like, I don't need to hold on to it just to make myself feel better when I can just reorder whatever I was working on if I ever wanted to go down that road again.
Right. Yep.
So my next point, I don't know if
I went through all three of mine. I've got the other list was how it was hard for me to overcome.
My next point, it's you start to be content with your life.
Yeah. Gratefulness.
Yeah, it starts to, like, we live in such a, like, consumer society where it's like we're constantly being told what we need. We're constantly being told, like, what we need to do, what's gonna make us, like,
How you
feel
look to
better.
other people.
Or, like, everyone's wearing, like, Lululemon, so now I have to wear Lululemon. Or it's like everyone's wearing, like, X, Y, and Z, so now I have to get X, Y, and Z. And it's like once you start realizing, like, the stuff that you have, like, we are so freaking lucky to be able to choose what clothing we wear.
Right.
Like, we are so freaking lucky to be able to even, like, decide that, oh, you know what? I don't want to eat chicken for dinner. I want beef.
Or that you can go, you know what, this morning I'm going to go for a run. I have an outfit for that. And then after that, I've got an outfit for mowing the yard. And then after that, I have an outfit for, like, just being comfortable around the house. And then after that, I have a bed outfit. So, like, that's 4 outfits in one day. You know
And
what I
I'm
mean?
like, I literally came from, like, dirt floors, and now I have, like, all of these things. And it's like, you get so caught up in what everyone else outside of you and your house really need that you start to basically feel like you don't have enough. You don't make enough money. You don't have enough clothes. You don't have the highest quality, like brand that everyone else is wearing. And it's like,
this goes back to that comparison is the thief of joy.
you stop comparing yourself once you realize that the less stuff you actually need to function, the less stuff you actually need in your life, the happier you are.
Right. Well, that's the other thing too, is like so many people measure success by the amount of materialistic things that people have or the number in their bank account, and they don't measure it by their happiness.
And if you're religious, there's that Bible verse that says that you can't accumulate treasures on earth. And if you really think about it, when you die, you're not going to take any of this with you.
Right.
So what does it matter what brand shirt you wear? What does it matter how many pairs of shoes you have? Like if you're constantly spending hours a day just taking care of your stuff, and you don't have time to, like, actually enjoy what you have, that's kind of where you should maybe reevaluate if you really need all of the stuff that you think you need.
Right. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yep.
So the things that made minimalism hard for me, I'm just going to go straight down my list, okay?
Okay.
Throwing things away that I might need one day. That was, like, a huge thing where, like, you had to really prompt and not pressure me, but prompt me on that question. When it'd be like, when are you going to use this? Or when's the last time you used this? And I'd have to look at it and I'd have to really think about it. Like, I don't remember. So it's like, if you don't remember, it's probably been a year and a half, 2 years at least. And it was like, and then how many times did you use it before that too? It's like, can't you just buy this again? This is a $12 thing. I'm like, if you need it, just buy a new one. It's not worth the mental attachment to it.
And can I just add something real quick to that?
Yeah.
For me, because that was actually hard at first too, because it's like I spent X, Y, and Z on whatever item. Like,
You feel like you're losing value when you get rid of it.
you do. So what I started doing is, like, I would have, like, a section or, like, whatever, like, if I'm in like the kitchen or my clothes or whatever it is, and I would have a section of stuff that I'm not ready to throw away yet, but I consciously know that I haven't worn it in the last year. So it stays in a specific spot. If it stays in that spot by the time next year comes, it's out.
Right.
So it's like you don't have to force yourself to get rid of it that instant, but you're also aware that it's something you're not going to use. So just give it a second shot. And if you still haven't worn it in that time period, you're probably never going to use it.
Yeah. My next one was stuff that is half sentimental and is hard to get rid of. So what we did, because I had a lot of sentimental stuff that had built up, and we basically made a pile of sentimental stuff, and then I, like, ranked it, where it's like extra sentimental, kind of sentimental. And then we made 2 different piles. And then I went through each pile again, and it was like, okay, this stuff I really do want to keep. Here's the stuff that, like, okay, here's 2 things that are really sentimental from the same point of my life. Which one is more important? You don't need both of them. That's just being like, oh, there's an orange one and a blue one. I need to keep the orange one. You know what I mean? So that was kind of like how we did that, is you have to, like, whittle away. It's almost like if someone forced you to get rid of, gun to the head, forced you to get rid of stuff, what would you get rid of? And then just do that. Like, clearly most of the stuff that people have is just excess and is not needed.
Take a picture of it. Like, if it's something you're really not ready to, like, but you also know that it's not really that sentimental, like, just take a picture of it.
Yeah. So the next one I have is getting rid of clothes despite not wearing them. So this one was really hard for me because I'm like, oh, well, that's, this shirt, blah, 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 that I bought for da-da-da-da-da, and I never wear it. Or this shirt's like, I like the shirt itself, but I don't like how it fits on me. And I would just end up keeping a bunch of shirts that I didn't need. So quick tip and a hack on that one is take all your coat hangers the way you hang them normally and hang them the opposite direction. So if you hang them like forward where the hook goes over, do it the other way where the hook comes under.
Bugs me.
Well, we did that at first, and it's like, okay, set a timeline, 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever it is, and whenever you do laundry, you hang the stuff back up the correct way. And then at the end of that time period, look at how many clothes are facing the opposite direction and be like, okay, you haven't worn these in a year. What's the likelihood? I mean, you could still just go through them again and be like, which ones of these might you need for, like, you know, a dress shirt or something like that. Like, I don't wear dress shirts that often, but I still have to have some for special occasions. But it's like, how many do I need? Do I need 6 or do I really just need like 2?
Exactly.
Because, like, how many am I going to wear in a row? Maybe on a weekend, worst case scenario, I maybe could wear 3 dress shirts. And it's like, why can't I just wash the first one from the first night again? You know what I mean? So that one was really hard for me. But that one was probably one of the most relieving ones, was cleaning out my closet. That was one of the ones where I felt like, I'm a fucking minimalist. You know what I mean? Look at me being grateful for the things I have. And then it makes you, it's almost like all of the energy and mental space that those clothes you never wore took. It's like you fold that same energy on top of the ones you do wear. So it's like you go from liking a shirt like 2 out of 10 that you wear regularly, like a 2 out of 10. And then when you get rid of all the other stuff, it's like, now I like this like an 8 or a 9 out of 10 because this is my shirt. Like, I like it even more. I don't know how to explain it, but it's almost like you like the shirt just 15 times more than you liked it before when you had all the other clutter. I guess you can appreciate it more.
Next point.
No, that was my points.
Okay.
That was my 3 points.
My turn. If I can log into my phone. Some things are harder to do just because you don't have the convenience of buying like a one-time item. For example, like the kitchen stuff, like cooking, sometimes it's a little bit more difficult because we don't have like all of these gadgets that can take something that takes 5 minutes and turn it into like a 1 minute thing. But it's like we also don't have the space to store all of that. Same thing with like cleaning. Like, I feel like there are products out there that are like super like strong that maybe would like save me on time as far as like cleaning like the shower or like certain stuff that get really like grimy over time. So it does become a little bit like you have to put in more effort to mend and make do with what you do have than if you just bought a product that would like strip everything in like 5 seconds.
Right. Because you don't need a cleaner for every individual different surface in your house.
It's like all you really need is a disinfectant and multi-purpose stuff, but maybe like the multi-purpose cleaner that you're using, it's going to take you a couple more wipes to get the same thing done.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of that too is like we've gotten into this mindset of like trying to reduce the number of toxins in our house.
Yeah.
And sometimes like the organic cleaners or like the non-toxic stuff, it's not as intense because it doesn't have all those harsh chemicals that it just makes like cleaning a little bit harder.
You're going off on a tangent on the cleaners right now.
No, but it's like it's not just that. I'm just talking about like in general, like clothing. Like, it is easier to just throw away a shirt than it is to take out like a needle and thread and fix whatever was wrong with it. It's easier to like,
depending upon what shirt it is and how much you value that shirt. Yeah,
like if a button rips, I feel like it is easier to just throw it away and get a new one, but it's also like that's money that you're wasting when you could just take out a needle and thread, and it does take time to do than if you just bought a new one. Like, I feel like it's just that mend and make do where it's like you have to put in a little bit more effort to get more life out of the stuff that you do have. You have to put in a little bit more effort so you're not constantly buying like one-time use things. That to me was something difficult.
Can I mention something real quick while I'm thinking about it before I forget it? I mean, if you just took the mentality of your stuff is like employees for your life, it's like at a certain point you only need a certain number of employees to do the job. If you have an overinflated place where there's just a bunch of stuff hanging around that is taking emotional funds from you, it's like take inventory of everything you have and what you actually need to do the jobs that you're doing in your everyday life. So look at your stuff like it's employees, because you want to have just the right number of employees. You don't want to have too little employees and you don't want to have too many employees. You need just the right amount, and only you as the individual can determine that. But 99% of the time, most people have too many employees doing the job that needs to be done.
I was gonna say it's a very individual thing because there are people out there that live out of a backpack. Like that's
Right.
all they have. Like everything fits in a backpack, which is great. We're not those people. There's also people that are
We
like,
definitely have though. On our honeymoon, we were gone for 2 weeks,
yeah,
and
when
we had like a carry-on.
when we go traveling, we don't take a lot because we know we don't need to. Like
We buy most of the stuff there.
yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's just very individual to the person what minimalism means to you. That's why I say like we're a functional minimalist because yes, we have stuff. We have like extra plates. Like we have like a whole like china set, like things that we don't necessarily use on a regular basis, but we do get use out of it.
Right.
And to other people, like having like more plates than what the two of us need may seem excessive, but it's like we use them. We have people over, like we do things.
Right.
So it's like that's only defined by you. Like if you only want to have 2 pairs of shoes versus like 2 pairs of shoes for every occasion, like
Right.
it just kind of depends on who you are as a person and what you're comfortable with.
Right.
My next thing is like you can kind of get carried away with the mentality of getting rid of stuff, like the decluttering process, because I found like I did that at first, where it's like
At first, what do you mean?
like when I first like when I
You
really
know what I'm saying? You just like you're not carried away with it anymore. Because
I feel like I think
didn't know you
about
got
it-
over that.
I feel like I think about it more than you do. But you can get really carried away and just like getting rid of stuff where it's like, this doesn't have to be done overnight. Like, slow down. I feel like that was one of the mistakes that I did when I first started. It's like I just got rid of it and I went into like all of my clothes has to be like these specific colors, and now I'm like no.
And then you started forcing it on me too, and I'm like, hey, I'm not at the same spot as
Yeah.
you. I'm not at the same spot as you. Like, I don't need to get rid of my nightstand and just charge my phone, you know, on the other side of the house. Like, just chill.
I never said that.
No, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it's very easy when someone feels so strongly about something to just being like, oh my God, you're wasting your life if you're da 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 da.
Yeah, and that's like something that like with time and just like growing up, you kind of realize that every person's in their own spot. But for me, it was just like doing it too quickly. Like I had a specific vision of what minimalism meant to me, which wasn't fitting to what our life was actually like. Like ideally, I'd like to have a dining room table and nothing else, but that's not realistic because that's not who we are as people, and we live in our house. Like we use everything in our house. So it's just coming to terms with like you don't necessarily need to have 5 things when you in reality like your life is going to be a lot easier if you have 10 things. So that to me was one of the things that I did at first that I felt like was kind of like too much. Just getting rid of everything that I thought I didn't need, but in reality, like it made our life easier. So I then had to repurchase some stuff. And the other thing, this is gonna be my next point for me at least, it's like a constant thing. Like you can't just declutter once and then never think about it again because stuff accumulates over time.
Yeah, it's definitely something you have to
So
do
it's
on a
like-
regular basis.
Yeah, so it's like not necessarily like a daily thing. I'm not thinking about this on a regular basis because we've been doing this for the past 7 years that we've just kind of like figured out systems and everything in our house as far as like when to go through things. But it's a constant thing. It's like you do like the big like declutter and like get rid of like the majority of stuff that you don't use, and then throughout your life you're like you go shopping and you find this really cute thing and you start adding, or you like get gifted stuff. Like that's a big one. Like we get
Oof.
gifted stuff all the time where it's like brands that I won't use or things that I won't use or like items that we already have that are just duplicates, and it's like you're having to like realize that like just because someone gave it to me doesn't mean I need to keep it. But it does start accumulating over time, like your medicine. Like when you're sick, you don't know you're going to get sick, and that stuff just comes in without you realizing it, and it's something that you're never going to need again. And if you do, you're not going to use the medication that's expired from 2 years ago. So it's just like a constant ongoing thing. Like we're constantly having to like go through our pantry, our medicine, our clothes. Like it's just an ongoing issue, which I feel like can be hard at times, but we've gotten into the rhythm where it's like we just do it as we go, which seems easier than like to dedicate a whole day to it. Like if I see something that I know, or like I go to grab something and it's like I see something I haven't used in a year, okay, toss it. If I go to like measure something, we have 2 measuring spoons, like get rid of one. Like
Right.
it just become like a habit to us where we don't
the
think
higher
about it.
and keep the higher quality one. Yeah.
That's
Yep.
one thing that I feel like we've gotten to the point where it's like we have everything we need. So now we're only like once things break, we're replacing it with really good quality stuff, which I
Right.
feel like is awesome that we're even at a point that we can do that.
We even like hand wash our dishes because it takes better care of the stuff. Like our electric bill might not be the cheapest thing in the world because of it, but our stuff is lasting us longer and it doesn't get destroyed by the dishwasher.
Like air drying certain items that we buy for clothing. It's like you learn to really appreciate the stuff you have, and you learn to be happy with like what you are fortunate enough to have in your life.
Right.
And you learn to take really good care of that stuff so it lasts you a really long time.
Yep. It's been super beneficial for us. I mean, I feel like it has given me time and energy to focus on other things that are the real important things that you get value out of with life.
Yeah, I feel like
I don't think if I would have ever been a minimalist that I would have ever had a podcast. I don't think that I would ever be able to do jiu-jitsu and the podcast. Like, I feel like I would have one hobby and it would probably just be hunting, because that was the one that I started first. And I wouldn't have the energy to do anything else because it'd have just too much crap around here, and it would just take too much of our time.
I feel like that's the biggest thing for me as well. It's just like you get so much more free time. Like I can actually sit down and read a book. Like,
Yep.
I don't know. It's just so beneficial for everyone in their life. Like, even if you don't go extreme, like there's definitely stuff that you probably have that you're not going to need.
Yeah.
So just kind of like keep it in the back of your mind as you're going through your life. Like,
God, it feels so good letting go of something.
it does.
Like overcoming that mental thought of like, I need it, I have to have it, and then you actually like do like a thought exercise of like, do I really need this? And when's the last time I used it? And the next thing you know, you're like, you get rid of it and you're like, wow, I like part of my like negative emotions went with it. Like it feels so good to have gotten rid of that.
It feels good too that it's like,
A sense of accomplishment.
yes, we live in a house and we have like plenty of room for everything, but it's also like, if we decided tomorrow to live in an RV, like, let's do it.
Right.
Like, you get so much more freedom because you're not tied down to things.
Yeah, and too many people their things have them in multiple ways, budget wise and just
Debt,
general.
like,
well, so many people are like, we need a bigger house. Our house is too small. And you and I have discussed like, this isn't the biggest house by square footage at all, and we're almost like, this is like
too much
for just two people, but it's big enough to like potentially raise kids in one day. So I don't know. I just feel like it's just a different mindset shift, and I feel like we have things because that's really what people want, is they want to have things, but the things we have are not materialistic. I mean, we do have materials, don't get us wrong, and they're nice, but they're tools that let us live our lives and give us the experiences.
And like, if our house were to burn, like, we like, yes, it would really suck, but at the same time, we don't have that emotional attachment to our stuff. That
Everybody would take their
survive.
pictures. Everyone would take their pictures or the things that give, and then we would just rebuy the things that allow them to do the things.
Even
that
like
want.
all the pictures, 'cause that was like a big fear of mine, because like obviously like growing up, like it was all like physical pictures. Like I spent an entire day digitalizing all of my pictures.
Yeah.
And now all of my brothers have it, and
Yeah.
it's something that we can like, oh, like remember that one time, and you pull it up and it's on your phone.
Yep. So, okay, minimalism, it's great. Let's
Do
bring it
it.
home.
Do it
Yeah,
in your own way.
Do it as like a sample size. If you have like one room that everyone's got this room that is just bothering you.
The clutter room, the clutter drawer.
Everyone, at least I grew up with what we would call like a junk drawer. Go through your junk drawer and see how much of that junk you really even need.
We don't even have a junk drawer.
Not anymore. Yeah, because we get rid of our junk. But
Everything has a spot.
Yeah, but I would say go through it. Find that one area in your house and go through it and minimalize it if you can. Watch a documentary on it on Netflix or on YouTube, and just see how freeing that one corner of your life or your home or everything feels. And then realize that could be your entire home, and it's like a snowball effect. That one little snowball of like, oh, we did that small little area, can be your whole home, which just is like you get flooded with endorphins of greatness whenever you do that. Like, it's just great.
Yeah, just live simple, be humble, and like really think about what stuff is taking up your time and your space.
Yep. And we hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the podcast. Drop a like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Follow the podcast Instagram. If you have any ideas for topics, send those to us in Instagram via the podcast Instagram or either of our personal Instagrams. We'd love to hear from you guys. And like, subscribe, show us some love. I see that you guys are listening, so it would be kind of cool to hear from some of you guys.
Yeah,
so if you
that
have
would
any
be cool.
ideas, nothing is going to be a stupid idea. So just reach out to us, and we'd love to hear from you guys. So Thanks again, Danny, and we'll see you guys next week. Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
This episode of Somehow We're Adults is over, but if you'd like to support the podcast, you can subscribe to one of the levels of the Patreon, where we will release bonus episodes that can't be found anywhere else. Any of the money that we get from the Patreon would be used to upgrade old equipment, as well as get new gear so that we can make the best podcast for you to tune into. You can also follow the podcast Instagram at Somehow We're Adults, where I share clips and content about the podcast, and the link in the bio will take you to any of the Somehow We're Adults pages. I encourage you to check out another one of the episodes if this is your first time listening, and if you're a repeat listener, thank you for your support. I love making the podcast, and I hope you tune in for future episodes of Somehow We're Adults.